World of Tanks is a game that undoubtedly has a lot of issues with it. But despite the many questionable features that the game may possess, tens of thousands of players still find great enjoyment within the game. Although with the new Crew 2.0 system being revealed, a large amount of players, myself included, are starting to question, is this the end of World of Tanks? So I decided that this is a great time to look at all the other things that are wrong with the game. So join me in explaining everything that is wrong with World of Tanks and how to fix it. There are a number of issues that we will be discussing today. These issues include 5 to 15 simulators, overpowered premium tanks, games becoming shorter and shorter, artillery, wheeled vehicles, and then finally, the shit show that is Crew 2.0. The first issue that will be discussed are the 5 to 15 simulators. In other words, incredibly unbalanced matches where one team absolutely crushes the other, resulting in an incredibly unfun experience for both teams, especially the losing one. This is primarily caused by unbalanced tank matchups, i.e. when a tank's counterpart on the enemy team is far stronger than their opposite number, or when the tank types are unequal and one team has an extra heavy, for example. I feel like the way to fix this issue has already been in the game before. Do you remember Ranked Season X a few months ago, and how those games had rough tank rolls for each vehicle and would be matched up accordingly? Put something akin to that in the random queue. It wouldn't be too much of a burden on matchmaking if the rolls had a decent variety of tanks within them, but would also prevent occasions from happening such as an AMX-50B getting matched up against a Chieftain or an Object 279E. The next big issue with World of Tanks is OP premiums. Your Defenders, your Scorpions, your TS5s, tanks that are just flat out better than their tech tree counterparts. The very simple way to fix this issue is to just nerf the premiums, but we all know there is no chance in hell that Wargaming would ever do that. There is something that Wargaming has done, however, to try to minimize the damage that these overpowered tanks do to the game. They no longer put them up for sale. Or at least they say that they won't put them up for sale, and then put them up anyway because they're greedy bastards. I have a way where Wargaming can still make their money while also maintaining the health of the game. Give players the ability to make standard tanks go premium. Similar to the Talisman system in War Thunder, give players the ability to pay either gold or real currency to give one of their tech tree tanks premium benefits. Since they are acquirable via the tech tree, Wargaming won't have to worry about protecting these premiums from nerfs. Adding this new system will also hopefully make it so Wargaming won't have to sell overpowered premiums to keep their company afloat. This bonus wouldn't change the tank's statistics at all, it would just give the tank the XP, credit, and crew transfer abilities of a premium tank. A win-win for both the player base and Wargaming in my opinion. The third issue with WoT is that the games are getting shorter and shorter. There is one incredibly definitive way to fix this issue in my opinion. Make the tanks slower. We don't need so many heavy tanks that can go at 50 kilometers per hour. They are heavy tanks. They are entirely meant to be slow. Faster tanks mean faster games. Another big part of fast games is the introduction of Equipment 2.0. As an avid user of the turbocharger, I can say with confidence that this shit is broken. If the turbocharger was removed from the game, the matches would become significantly slower. Back to making tanks slower, leave the speed to the lights and mediums. Heavy tanks with armor like the Object 277 should not be capable of speeds like this. The 5 to 15 simulators are also a likely contributor to the incredibly quick games, since when one team absolutely rolls over another team, that rolling is usually not a particularly slow process. The next issue with World of Tanks is an issue that has plagued the game since its inception: artillery. If you are unfamiliar with how artillery works, they usually sit at the back of the map and launch high explosive shells over obstacles and deal damage to enemy tanks indirectly, with the enemy tanks having very little options in the way of actually fighting back against the artillery. As you can imagine, this can be an incredibly oppressive force, and many players find them absolutely infuriating. The best way to try to balance artillery is to limit their numbers to 1 per game. Getting hit by artillery 3 times will absolutely ruin your tank. Getting hit by artillery once will not do nearly as much, and in turn artillery will not be nearly as influential or as game worsening as they currently are. The last issue that I will be discussing in full are wheeled vehicles. These vehicles are a relatively new addition to World of Tanks, and generally the community thinks that they are a bit fucking broken, even after multiple rounds of nerfs. To me, there are 3 main issues with wheeled vehicles, them being stupidly fast, their wheels being black holes for shells, and their insanely annoying HE rounds. If you slightly tweak these aspects of wheeled vehicles, they just might actually become balanced. Make their HE rounds have normal pen compared to other HE rounds of the same caliber, maybe about 50 or 60 millimeters of penetration. Make the wheels have a damageable hitbox. Don't make me aim at the top half of a tank that is moving at 90 kilometers an hour. If I were to hit a wheel of an EBR and it actually did damage, a massive part of the problem with EBRs would be fixed right then and there. Wargaming could also just slightly nerf their mobility, like they have in the past. Slow down the top tiers by maybe 10 or so kilometers per hour, and they would be exponentially less annoying. The elephant in the room that now needs to be discussed is Crew 2.0. I am not going to be going into exact detail what is in Crew 2.0, plenty of other creators have already done that if you want to know the specifics, but it would make the game massively more pay to win. An alarming amount of the community, myself included, have decided that if Crew 2.0 gets implemented into the game, then we will close the door on WoT for good, and look elsewhere for new games to play. So how is Wargaming supposed to fix the release of Crew 2.0? Simple solution, don't fucking release it. There is no way that this disaster is salvageable. So much is wrong with it, just please do away with Crew 2.0. World of Tanks has a lot of issues. But despite these issues, I and many others still love the game and want to see it do well. And that is why I have outlined the major issues that I see with World of Tanks and how to fix them. So, yeah, that's about it. I'm Unbearable. See you next time. If you enjoyed this video, please consider checking out my other videos. If you did not enjoy this video, then run my ass over with a car, dude. I don't know.